It shows a catamaran, or shows a number of catamarans with foils on them, foiling above the water. Let me tell you, it's not a new concept. It's been around for a while, and a lot of other people have been developing it a lot more. It's new in the America's Cup. And we have other asymmetric foils as well. This is the foil that probably caused a lot of the controversy. This has got what some people thought was a controllable trim tab on the back that we were apparently controlling and practicing for months and months and months, adjusting this trim tab out on the water. And you can actually see this very sophisticated device was actually controlled, the adjustment of the tab, by a simple grub screw with an Allen key that you could adjust the angle. This was not built as a race wing. I think you can see that. It was actually built symmetric. I'll explain that. It's symmetric in terms of its shape, and I'll explain that, why we did that later on. Basically, we built this wing actually oversized for the initial trials that we did, thinking that we could actually reduce the area pretty simply with the construction out of metal. Then once we had sailed with this for a while, then our plan was to go ahead and build some carbon wings, which we've done. They actually don't take a lot of time to produce, by the way. You can produce these wings relatively quickly, and as I said, it's not exactly rocket science or new technology. It's been around for a while.
What was the thinking on using this kind of design to practice when it's not a regulation design?
Well, we do a lot of things out of regulation while we're practicing. You know, I could tell you, I don't know, there might be a dozen of things that we often trial on the boat that aren't that you couldn't race with. But quite often you go outside the parameters to learn more about the science of it and learn what the effects are, and sometimes you go more dramatic than necessarily what you think you'll use just to get a spread of results. So that's typically what you do.
So Russell, does the ones that you were jumping up and down on before, are they rule compliant at the moment?
Look, these ones are compliant with what Ian Murray would. These are to the larger area. You see that these different areas too. So they're compliant with I think the current rule. But if for example, the jury was to change that rule to asymmetric wings, we'd build a set of those and put them on and race with those.
What about the safety aspect of this then? I mean, do you consider this a performance issue or a safety issue?
Well, clearly larger wings are safer. That's obvious. I don't think they're faster, they're slower, they're more drag, but they're clearly safer because they provide more resistance when they're in a pitch bowl type situation.
So how do you view then Team New Zealand's stance that they've been sailing safely with what they've got, and Luna Rossa obviously?
Well, I think they're probably feel that they're safe. Who knows whether? I think any of the boats out here are capable of capsizing. And I don't know what the area of their wings are. Maybe they're big area wings. I don't know.
Now, could the rule be changed now, and how do you feel about a rule change within the America's Cup, given that the rule went out 2 years ago?
If it makes it safer, I think it's a good thing. As I said, I don't believe that any of these rules will dramatically alter the competitive position of any of the teams.
So
there are much bigger factors.
You can see where Team New Zealand's coming from with this, that they feel they designed to a rule that was put out 2 years ago, and they're concerned that rule might now be changed, not from a safety aspect, but from a performance aspect.
Well, there are other rules that have been changed that make the boat safer that are different to what was originally proposed in the design rule. For example, the deletion of the wing centre of gravity. That got changed recently, enabling, not forcing teams to put corrector weights in the top of their wing, which essentially in a pitch bowl situation makes it more dangerous. That got changed. Our stance has been, look, Ian Murray's the regatta director. He got hired or nominated by the teams independently. He's like the commissioner in other sports. He's proposed a number of these safety changes. We believe that we can adapt to them, and if they make the boat safer, we believe it's a good thing. And we don't think it's, frankly, any of them will change the competitive nature of this event.
Does it help you with your design?
No. I think you'll see that these wings that we designed here are smaller, and we believe smaller wings would be faster.
Smaller wings faster, but not as safe.
Definitely not as safe. I mean, even intuitively, I think everyone would sense that a larger wing would provide more resistance than a smaller wing. That's obvious when the boat's in a pitch bowl situation.
So Team New Zealand will learn a race wide of the mark, are they? The way you're forcibly showing us these wings.
I think what I've heard is that they thought that we had some sort of adjustable trim tab on there, and they thought that we were gaining some sort of advantage out of this. As I said, we support Ian Murray. We think he's done a good job for making the boat safer. But if the jury ruled differently, we could live with that. We don't believe it's going to change who wins or loses this regatta.
You've more experience than most in the politics and the games in this America's Cup. How is this going to play out, do you think?
I don't really mind. I don't mind. I'm not spending a whole lot of time. In fact, I don't even read the emails, concerning this topic. I'm much more interested in what we're doing with our two-boat program and learning how to sail these boats fast and learning how to learning things about the design that are going to help us win.
So Ian Murray said today that in his briefing today, he said that basically without the wing change, the boats were not safe and didn't sort of qualify for the Coast Guard permit because it was unsafe without that change. Do you agree with that?
Look, that's what Ian says. I don't really have a strong position, but I agree with the fact that he should be able to change safety rules if he thinks they're safer, and to make the boat safer. I agree with that. There's probably other rules that he if he thought were safer, we'd agree with it. We are competitive as anyone, but if rules make the game safer, we said you can have the wings have got to be a certain area, which is good because otherwise the area thing is good because otherwise we would sail with smaller wings.
No, I understand that.
So as long as everyone is forced to use the bigger wings, that's fine, and if it makes the boat safer, that's a good thing. So we'll use the bigger wings, and what he said is you can have them asymmetric or symmetric, and the reason he did that is obvious. The asymmetric wing induces a pretty significant bending moment into the rudder shaft, and he's also lengthened the rudder shaft, which also increases that consideration as well. So he's given the teams the option to do that, and frankly, I don't think that it'll make any performance difference as to whether you use symmetric or asymmetric, or no significant performance difference.
How much does the bigger elevators, how much do they help in foiling?
They probably help foiling at low boat speeds. It's just like the analogy with an airplane that changes its speed, when it's coming into land, it increases its area. But once you don't need the area, then it's just additional drag. So at a very tiny wind range, it'd probably help a bit, but after that it'd slow the boat down. So as I said, if we had a choice, we'd use smaller wings.
Do you accept though that this is a hornet's nest and it could get nastier and dirtier?
Why? As far as we're concerned, as I said, we don't really mind. It's not going to win or lose this, the America's Cup.